In 2013 I took a trip to Ukraine and Crimea, and this is the video from it. We went through Germany on the Autozug from Hamburg to Villach in Austria, then departed the train road to Slovenia into Croatia, across Bosnia and Herzegovina, continuing into Belgrade in Serbia, into Romania, along the Carpathian Mountains, a lot of off-road, to Brasov, continuing to Galați, into Ukraine and Odessa, continuing to Crimea and back to the mainland using through the Arabat Spit, the sandy strip, into Kamień-Podilsky, into Ivano-Frankivsk, and then continuing to the Ukrainian Carpathian Mountains, to Lviv and did some sightseeing, back into Slovakia and into Czech Republic, and from there back home. And this is the entire trip. So we arrived at the train station where we had to load the bikes onto the train. We thought we had enough time, but we actually turned out to be late. We were the very last ones there. Riding the bike into the wagons, it's very, very low ceiling, so you have to remember to keep your helmet on, or you will definitely bump your head. The train was pretty straightforward, not much to it. We arrived the next morning in Austria, and this is us riding in the towards the Alps in Austria, where we will find the border to Slovenia. Enter the Triglav National Park in Slovenia. The weather was fine at this point of time, but as you can see, the weather quickly turned into rainy weather. And in the mountains it changes from one mountain to the other. So we had rain, we had sunshine, we had rain and then sunshine again, and it was just, you know, yeah, it was different. Slovenia has its fair share of very, very spectacular and scenic routes that you can ride, small roads that not too much traffic, and you get to see a nice scenery, small houses and villages and whatnot, and it's a very, very nice place. So we were supposed to take a right here, but as you can see the road was blocked, and there was actually doing some stuff on the bridge. There are some people working there, and so we didn't want to sneak through, so we had to take a little bit of a detour, but we didn't want to go like the huge detour, so we just took, you know, looked at the map and took the roads that appeared to be the fastest, or at least the shortest way to the road that we were supposed to go on. We ended up on a lot of small roads, gravel roads, and it was actually quite fun. And we ended up like, I don't know, maybe it took like half an hour or something like that to take that detour, but we actually ended up on the road probably just, you know, a few hundred meters from where we had to turn anyway. So those things, I think that's where they hang and dry their whenever they harvest and dry their crops and stuff like that. We continued through Slovenia on Backroads. We hit a lot of fantastic backroads in the mountains with extremely nice scenery. A bit of gravel, as you can see, but nothing that wasn't doable. It wasn't technical at all, and it was dry, so we had no issues whatsoever. We did have a couple of patches that had a little bit of wet spots, but we ended up on paved road quickly, and we just sit back, relax, and really enjoy the fantastic, awesome, spectacular views that Slovenia has to offer. So getting close to the border to Croatia, we lost our way and we had to ask directions. So this guy didn't speak English and I don't speak the local language, so we communicated in German and using gestures, finding the crossing. So this crossing was in May 2013, and there was just a month or so before Croatia joined the European Union. So this was, this was the exit of Slovenia, and after the bridge is the entry to Croatia. But all in all, it was a quite easy border crossing. Nothing much, just showing the passport and your documents. Easy piece of cake. So it's get a little bit late in the afternoon and we want to find a place to sleep. So we rode a couple of kilometers or so and we ended up at a hotel called Hotel Frankopan or something like that. Where we stayed the night, had some great food, lots of it as you can see, and had breakfast and started the next morning. So we were in Croatia just for a little short while and we entered Bosnia early the next day. We rode along a river called Una River. It's a fantastic river that has a lot of very, very scenic spots along its path. So we were traveling eastwards on the northern part of Bosnia, all on back roads. I think that this is probably along the Una River was probably the largest part, except of obviously when we came to Srebenice. We rode a lot of gravel. It was just easy gravel farming roads, I'd say. Not much to it. It was great fun seeing that part of the country. This is taken from both my helmet camera and also Ryan's camera. This is Ryan's bike, we showed just before. This is my helmet camera. And we see Jeff on his KTM 690. He was very fast, a lot faster than we were on our GSs, at least when we were on gravel. So we got into some a little bit more technical stuff in the hills, in forests in Bosnia, and I had a crash. My front tire slipped under me in a rut. And I crashed and I actually hurt my leg a little bit. It wasn't too bad. I could, after a little time, move on. We asked direction. We got a little lost. We had tracks on the GPS, but they are not accurate on these kind of roads. After some while and a little later in the afternoon, we hit some less technical gravel. We were on our way to a town called Doboj, crossing a bridge that had been in better shape, collapsed bridge. We got to some newly paved road at the end of the day, and we were just close to Doboj where we stayed the night. The next morning we went to see the fortress, but it was unfortunately closed. Quite often people approach us to talk about the motorcycles, and they always ask us two questions. First, how much is the bike? And second, how big is the engine? I'd like to talk about the bike and I like to talk about the journey, but I don't really want to talk about how much I spent on it. So here we are approaching, getting closer to Srebenice. Back in 1995 there was a genocide committed here or around this place, and we went to see the memorial. It was a bit of a weird feeling seeing all those names, all those victims of such a pointless thing of, the atrocity that happened is just, uncomprehendable. Crossing the border one more time, this time into Serbia. We were riding towards Belgrade, which was the destination for the day. And along the way we really enjoyed the Serbian countryside.
Just had a bit of view back there.
I guess that's the definition of locker room talk. So we arrived at Belgrade, and we wanted to find a place to sleep. So we checked out several hotels before we finally found a hotel that had the vacancies. It was a place called the Actors Hotel, and Jeff absolutely got the most fantastic room that we've ever seen. So that's it, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode where we will move on into Romania and into Ukraine.